Alrighty, you are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Detroit Lions. And why are the Detroit Lions 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. What's up, Jersey guys? Yo, what's up? I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away. Throw in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes. So. You know, when I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. But it was also, instead of me just like rambling on for half an hour or whatever, 40 minutes, if not more, you know, it's nice to talk to another Giant fan. So, but also a little programming note. Next week, I'm going to be in Mexico. You know, it's good and bad. I'm on vacation, so it's good, but it's bad. So, I'll be definitely going live. What would it say? It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I might go live Friday. I'm not sure because we're leaving early Saturday morning, so I'm not exactly sure. But I just wanted like a little program note, like all next week. I won't be live. I'll be putting stuff in the groups and my Facebook page and all that, but I won't be going live. But hopefully, when I come back from Mexico, we're good to go until the end of the season. So here we go, right? So before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them, so if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I could use all the support I can get, guys. But if you're not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But as I said, if you are subscribed, thank you. And then finally, in the description box below, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group called the New York Giants Gridiron. I say this in every video, basically just to dumb it down for a moron like me. My YouTube channel, my Facebook group, and my Facebook page, which I'll go over in a minute, it's all called the same thing. It's all called like New York Giants Gridiron. That way, you know, what's my group called, my page called something different than the YouTube. It's all called the same thing. It makes it nice and easy for me, right? But in the group, we have over 4,700 members. Once I get done going live here, I usually spend like the next couple of hours just putting stuff in the group and in the page. I try to get at least 10 things every day in the group and in the page, you know. And now the season's on, you know, the preseason, all that. We're almost off and running here with preseason, game number 1 just a couple days away. It's so easy to get tons of stuff. You know, whether it's a picture, a post, I'm sharing an article, a video, just showing some stats on a ball player, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites. Right? You know, there's a ton of stuff going in here every day. And if you become a member, not only do I post stuff in here, but members post stuff in here as well. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants stuff going in here every day. And then in the second Facebook links takes you to my Facebook page. I'm the administrator in the page. I'm the only one to post anything, unlike in the group where the members can post stuff. But what do we got? We have over 2,900 likes on it's called the New York Giants Gridiron the page, and we're over 8,200 followers on the page. The page is really doing simply marvelous. But basically, it's the same thing. Once I get done going live, between the group and the page, I'm gonna be putting a ton of stuff in the group and the page. And I said basically whether I'm putting a video in there, a post, a picture, a stat, something, you know, sharing an article. Once again, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites. You know, I try to get a ton of stuff, at least 10 different things in there every day. right? And I don't commingle the stuff. So basically, the stuff that I put in a page, I don't put in a group. For the most part, whatever I put in a group, I don't put in a page. So it just keep the stuff separate, and it's just a ton of stuff, every day. So if you go to the page and you like it and follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member, every day, there's 7 days a week. If I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in there. It's almost darn near almost 365, right? Even next week when I'm in Mexico, I'll be putting stuff in the group and in the page. As long as I got internet access, stuff's going in there, right? So there's a ton of New York Giants information every day. But you can't always satisfy everybody, right? So like I always got my money back guarantee. So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member, if you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, with all that stuff said and done and out of the way with, well. Ranger, what are we? Ranger and Met fan. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they just disappoint you year in and year out. Let me tell you what. I mean, they have maybe a good regular season where they get then somewhere along the line, they're going to lose. It just unlike the Knicks, I'm a Knicks fan, where they just straight out, usually just straight up just disappoint you. I mean, even when they get to the playoffs, they just, So the Rangers have been since 94, and the Knicks have been, it was 72, 73, because 69, 70, they won. 69, 70, 71, they lost to the Baltimore Bullets in West Unseld. 71, 72, they got to the championship, and they lost to the Lakers. I mean, Elgin Baylor, Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West. I mean, but then the following season, they got their rematch and all that, and they wind up winning once again. I mean, probably, yeah, I have to say the 72, 73 Knicks team. I mean, that was possibly the greatest team of all time. I mean, contributions from everybody. I mean, they had, it was just pass it around, whoever was the open person. It wasn't Michael Jordan. I'm going to get my 95 shots a game. If you don't like it, tough. Or the Kobe Bryant's, I'm going to shoot the ball 712 times a game. If you don't like it, tough. I mean, it was none of that back then. It was a team. And, they didn't have the, they were going up against Wilt Chamberlain, or Jerry, like that once again, emphasize team, right? Whoever had the hot hand, or whoever, you pass it to the open guy, he takes the shot. There's no bickering and arguing and complaining. I want $300 million a year. I'm not kidding. I want my shots. I want this. I want my sneaker deal. There's none of that bull crap back then. It was basketball, right? They worked their butts off, and there was a team, and they earned the championship. That's the way I like to remember it. Of course, that was about 800 years ago. So maybe before I die, maybe the Knicks will win another championship. Maybe am I asking for too much? So it's been 50 years, right? Can we get a championship? I mean, in the next 20, 25 years, is a brother asking for too much? Unbelievable. Yeah, Red Holtzman, good coach. Good coach. But we got some good news, hopefully, on from Shane. Oh, also, yeah, a little quick side note here. You sent me an email. It went to my spam. I don't even know I even checked it. So I'm watching the Houston Oilers game from '94. It's amazing that team even had a winning record. I mean, they were like the absolute worst in the offense. I mean, Dave Brown trying to pass the ball to Callaway and Sherrard. We had like no tight end. I mean, we had Howie Cross, but he wasn't Mark Bavaro. I mean, amazing. We even had a winning record that year. What a horrible offense. Oh my goodness. But Joe Shane says, all right, Wan'Dale, which is going to lead me up to my next point of view. Is it? No. Well, we'll go to the depth chart right after this one. That wasn't my next point, but we're going to do this. So Joe Shane says Wan'Dale Robinson is close to returning. Says the Giants head into their first preseason game Friday. in Detroit versus the Lions with just 3 players left on physically able to perform. On Monday, the team elevated defensive lineman A'Shawn Robinson and offensive lineman Marcus McKeithen. Yes, good. Leaving just wide receiver Wan'Dale Robinson, DJ Davidson, and Aaron Robinson, the 3 remaining guys on PUP. Let's see what we got here. The team began training camp with 6 players on PUP. The 5 players aforementioned above and veteran wideout Sterling Shepard, who was taken off the list earlier in camp. But the list could be dwindling even further as veteran Giants reporter Art Stapleton hints that Wan'Dale Robinson may be ready to be activated sooner than expected. All right. Art Stapleton said, "This is interesting. I've heard that maybe we should pump the brakes on assuming the Giants' Wan'Dale Robinson is staying on PUP into the regular season. Maybe pump the brakes on that. At the rate he's progressing from the ACL, Robinson may be back before the end of summer, which is a stunner from, oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, I think it was week 9 or 10 he got injured. We came back, right, from, was it week 10? We had the bye week, right? Then we won. Then we were supposed to beat the Lions, right? Because they had a losing record, so we were just going to walk all over them and continue. But then we lost. Something strange along the way happened. We got our butts handed to us by the Lions, 31-18. But that was the game. He had 9 receptions for over 100 yards, and then he got injured. So whatever. Week 10 last year, and he might be back before week 1. Wow. The Giants themselves that believe that Robinson will be back in short order just 9 months after tearing his ACL. I tell you what, man, these guys are unbelievable. I want to ride somebody, I don't know. Some of these guys that just can't stay healthy, it just makes me scratch my head. But other these guys, somebody's coming back from these ACLs in like 9 months or so. That's phenomenal. Let's see here. Joe Shane said he'll probably be returning to practice here in a week or so. Wow. Of course, they'll ramp him up and all of that. It's not like, he passes physical, he's off a PUP. Okay, there you go, Wan'Dale. Start running the next, we're going to have you out there running routes with the ones, for the next couple hours now. So they'll ease him in. But Joe Shane said that during an appearance on the Zach Gelb show. We're excited about him. Robinson's return would give the Giants an excess of, which we're going to go over here in a second with the unofficial depth chart, right? Says that is just fine and dandy for head coach Brian Daboll, who would rather have a competitive situation on his hands than what he had last season when he had to scour the waiver wire for receivers by mid-season. Oh, my God, yeah. Well, he wants an excess of wide receivers. That's exactly what he's got himself. With Shepard back and veteran free agent Cole Beasley and Jamison Crowder in camp, Robinson will have a steeper hill to climb than last season. The emergence of rookie Jalen Hyatt combined with the return of Isaiah Hodgins and Darius Slayton and the arrival of Paris. My God, I mean, this is bananas. The one thing we just don't have is we don't have the dog. We don't have the ABCD Lamb, the Brown, AJ Brown, and we don't have that, but we got pretty much anything else. Anyone still knocking the Giants for a lack of weapons should take a second look. Keep in mind that Big Blue added former Pro Bowl tight end, and don't forget about Waller. I mean, he's the dog. I guess he's the head guy, right? So, and then Pro Bowl running back Saquon Barkley is under contract in camp and looking better than he has in years. Oh yeah, he's. I'll tell you what, he's certainly looking pretty good. So now, if you start looking at this, I mean, where are we at here? There we go. Here's the depth chart. I mean, the unofficial depth chart. And I was listening to Big Blue Kickoff Live today, and Howard Cross was just kind of laughing at the unofficial depth chart. He said it really means like absolutely nothing, which pretty much it does. But they got, let's see, they got 3 wide receiver positions here. They got Isaiah Hodgins, Paris Campbell, and Darius Slayton as the first stringers. I guess that's what it basically looks like here. Jalen Hyatt is behind Isaiah Hodgins. Cole Beasley is behind Paris Campbell. And then You got Sterling Shepard behind Darius Slayton, which obviously, then if they bring Robinson back, then you're looking at Colin Johnson, who had a nice catch today, Jamison Crowder, and Bryce Ford Wheaton, Jaden Mickens, and Khalil Pimpleton on the outside looking in. Is anybody else? Oh, David Sills, the fifth. So we got, but goes, and then right tackle, they got the unofficial depth chart. They got Evan Neal, they got Glowinski, Michael Schmitz Jr., right? Ben Bredesen as a starter at left guard, Andrew Thomas, of course. Behind Andrew Thomas, they got Corey Cunningham and Tyree Phillips. They got Tyree Phillips kind of like all over the place here. Tyree Phillips is the third string right guard. Tyree Phillips is the second string left guard. Tyree Phillips is the third string left tackle. So, of course, then Ben Bredesen is the second string center. Zudu is the second string right guard. And, of course, this is not looking good for Lemieux. Lemieux's the third string left guard, the third string center. What I'm looking at here, is that we're looking at like Tyree Phillips is the third string right guard and the left tackle. He's the second string left guard. So Tyree Phillips looking like we kind of got like could be Zudu, Tyree Phillips. They're not getting rid of Zudu. That's not happening. So you can probably pretty much write it down. You got Neal, Glowinski, Schmitz Jr., Ben Bredesen, Andrew Thomas, and Zudu. You can write those guys in. Those six guys in. They drafted Zudu in the third round. They're not going to expose him to the waiver wire or nothing like that. So you got those six guys. All right. Now the other guy, got Corey Cunningham is the second string behind Andrew Thomas. Tyree Phillips is the second string left guard. Unofficial, of course. This is based, things might happen. Obviously as we go along, unfortunately, injuries might happen. So, this could wind up reshaping itself as time goes by here. But, then they have Matt Peart as the second string right tackle. So who based on this right here might be they keep, I don't know, they're going to keep eight guys on the roster on the final 53 for the line, offensive line. Of course, then we have we get tight ends Waller and Bellinger. Then they have Cager, Tommy Sweeney's number 4, and Chris Myrick, and Ryan Jones. So those guys are kind of on the outside looking in. But it's kind of as I said, if we got Robinson coming back, Wan'Dale, between Darius Slayton, Sterling Shepard, Wan'Dale Robinson, Paris Campbell, Cole Beasley, Jalen Hyatt, and Isaiah Hodgins, that's 7 guys. But I said, once again, that would leave Jamison Crowder and Colin Johnson on the outside looking in. And also Bryce Ford Wheaton, And then on defense here, what do they got? Of course, we got Sexy Dexy and Leonard Williams. You got Oshane and Nunez Roaches are the backups for those guys. So you pencil those guys in. Then you got Jordan Riley is the third string. Ryder Anderson is a third string. Defensive end, they got Azeez Ojulari. Hottie is second string behind him. Let's see here. Another edge rusher. They got obviously Kayvon and Oshane Ximines behind him. Then they have Toman Fox as their third string behind Oshane Ximines. Middle linebacker, you got a Karake. Then you have Darian Beavers, as of right now, is the first string weak side linebacker. Then Micah McFadden is second string. Carter Coughlin is the second string middle linebacker. Cam Brown, who's a good special teamer, but they got him as a third string. So it'd be interesting to see how many inside linebackers they wind up keeping. Then, of course, now you have it at the cornerbacks. Of course, they have the first string. It's just unofficial. Once again, they got Deonte Banks and Adoree Jackson and the the nickel or corner slot corner. They got Darnay Holmes. So, and they got Cordell Flott is the second string slot corner. Trey Hawkins, they got him the second string behind Adoree Jackson. Amani Oruwariye is behind Deonte Banks. So, but then of course we can't forget about once again Aaron Robinson. You know, if he comes back and if he can actually stay healthy, you know, where's he going to fit in? Then they got, of course, that Jason Pinnock, which is kind of no surprise as of right now. He seems to be doing really, really well. And Xavier McKinney are the two safeties. Dane Belton's the second string strong safety. Nick McLeod is the second string free safety. But just interesting because Bobby McCain is, you know, they brought in who's got the experience and he's a lot of flexibility and all of this stuff. I only see him as the third, once again, it's unofficial. That's all it is. But I got him as the third string strong safety. Now they got Javarius Owens as the third string free safety. Now they're, I don't know how many safeties you're going to keep between strong safeties and free safeties. But if they keep Pinnock, Belton, McLeod, and Xavier McKinney, that's 4, you know. So how many safeties you're going to keep? 5 on the 53? I mean, they just drafted Javarius Owens. I mean, you know, he ain't going nowhere. I mean, unless he just straight out unbelievable. He's absolutely ungodly horrible. He's not God. I'd be shocked if he goes anywhere. So, I mean, that leaves like that might look like McCain might be on the outside looking in. Interesting. And then kind of also interesting, too. I haven't heard much about Oruwariye, but once again, it's unofficial. So, and they got him as the second string right cornerback. So interesting stuff. But once again, it's up, Terrence. LT was on the sideline. Yeah. Let's see, Terrence, Jersey guy. Phillips has versatility. Yeah, what you're trying to do with Brett. Yeah, well, that's the thing is that they got like Phillips is listed in like 3 locations. He's the third string in 2 positions, and he's the second stringer in another position. So, I mean, they got him low, you know, that's, you know, a lot of versatility there. So if he's located on his name's in 3 different spots, that's pretty good for him. Right. Because, you know, I mean, injuries happen. You got to have, you know, you got your Fab 5, which includes, you know, what is it? Evan Neal, Glowinski, Michael Schmitz. You got Bredesen and Thomas, and they're not letting the Zudu go. So that's 6 guys right there, right? The other thing is, you know, it's a shame with McKeithen because, you know, he really didn't have a chance. They drafted him. They drafted him for a reason. He didn't have a chance last year, and he's just coming back this year. You know, how much of an impact is he going to be able to make? Is he going to have enough of a shot, you know, to try to make it on the 53? And if not, you know, since they did draft him, you know, they're going to try to maybe work him, you know, let him go. Hopefully he makes it through waivers and they can shove him on the practice squad. Maybe be interesting to see because they got a lot of guys, a lot of guys. We're cutting quality players. That's what gives us a lot of ideas. Oh yeah. We're cutting quality. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's actually. Oh yeah. There's a positive. Oh yeah. I mean, you got like the wide receivers. It's like you know. I mean, especially if Wan'Dale's supposed to be coming back in a couple of weeks, within a week or 2. You know. So I mean, according to that list, you know, you're going to have Jamison Crowder, Bryce Ford Wheaton, and Colin Johnson might be on the outside looking in, just according to that list. That's all it is. Of course, I mean, you know, as I said, once again, I don't want to sound like the Grim Reaper or nothing like that, but Colin Johnson pulls a Colin Johnson like he did last year, and then boom, the season's over. You know, well, that just makes it that much of an easier choice. You know, who you're going to cut and who you know. I mean, because what the heck happened? I don't know if it's in the article I'm going to go over in just a second, but I think it is. When Paris Campbell went down, I think he came down hard, and he was like limping off the field and stuff like that. But he apparently came back onto the field a little bit later. Everything was okay. Was he the one? I have to read the article. Somebody took a cheap. It looked like it was Cager. Cager looked like he might have got a late hit. Somebody might have hit him late or something like that. and he got to be helped off the field, but he came back on the field a little bit later. So, but injuries are going to happen. It was even kind of funny. Waller was talking, I think, after the practice was over, and if somebody was asking him, how was it going out there or something like that, whatever it was, Waller said, it was good, blah, 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 blah. You get competition, this, that, and the other thing. I think somebody hit him in the ribs or something like that as he was cutting across the field, cutting across the middle of the field or something like that. Somebody was going, I don't know, somebody was trying to maybe slow him down or something like that, decided to try to hit him in the ribs, whatever. But, you hear different things here about the first meeting, the first practice between the Giants. Obviously, for the most part, it seemed like it was bad for the Giants. They got some good things in there. I also saw, how in the first series or whatever for Daniel Jones, he went 6 for 8. But then after that, kind of, I don't want to say the wheels fell off, but it wasn't very good after that. But I already went 6 out of 8 right in the beginning. How I can't remember the guy's name, but how Patricia Traina does Locked On. Don't light up your teammates, save it for Dell. Yeah. But how Patricia Traina does Locked On Giants. Well, there was a video out after the game, the joint practices was the guy, I can't remember his name, was Locked On Lions. He did it, and he was talking about it was a butt whooping out there, and the Lions just destroyed the Giants and this, that, and the other thing, and but. Apparently, it didn't go unbelievably well for the Giants, shall we say? What we got? Who is this here? This is Big Blue View. The Giants and the Lions have completed their first day of joint practices, and most reports indicate that the Giants did not have a great day offensively. Art Stapleton said Daniel quarterback Jones missed a couple of throws. Yeah, yep. On an uneven day. Dan Dugan said it was the worst the first team offenses looked all camp. Yep. He said he missed a couple of throws, and normally I feel pretty good about Jones. A couple of them were like to Waller, deep. Jones said there was a deep throw to Waller he missed that he hit several times in earlier practices. He said regardless of the results, Jones said the work was valuable. I just see different looks going up against different guys that you don't know as well. I think this competitive nature of these practices speeds up the game a little bit in certain situations. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Waller also thought the work was helpful. He said, it's a lot more physical out here, a lot more things to take into account. Somebody's going to come and put here you go. There it is. Yeah. It is Waller. It's a lot more physical out here, a lot more things to take into account. Somebody is going to come and put a forearm in your ribs when you run over the middle of the field, even though it's just a 7-on-7. He said, just getting more acclimated to game-like situations and knowing that it's a physical game at the end of the day. It's not always going to be a 7-on-7 and people tagging off on you. It's a good acclimation. Let's see. What we got here? Best thing that they said they saw, Saquon made a house call. The Giants had a tough time generating offense against Detroit's defensive starters, but their best play unsurprisingly involved Barkley. In team drills, New York had Jones hand off to Barkley on a stretch play to the left before Jones rolled right and gave a shovel pass in action. Meanwhile, Barkley tore down the left sideline and outran his pursuers for what would have been a long touchdown. Let's see here. Injury notes. What do we got here? Raheem Newton-Roaches with his groin and Evan Neal concussion did not practice, and Ryder Anderson triceps also continues to be sidelined. So the Giants will hold their second practice again at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow, and then they'll obviously have their preseason game on Friday night. And here we have. This is from the Post, New York Post. Remember Colin Johnson? He was a training camp sensation last year before he ruptured Achilles tendon in late August, end of the season. The 6'6" Johnson has had a relatively quiet camp thus far. Well, I've heard some good things about him. but he owned the highlight of the day. It was a great catch. Daniel Jones, I think it was Daniel Jones, hit him in the corner, right by the back of the side of the end zone, and he made like a one-handed catch. He pulled it in one hand. Nice. Got his feet in bounds. Oh, it was from Tyrod Taylor. Okay, it was from Tyrod Taylor. Thomas Starling, the cornerback, was all over him. I mean, not pass defense for what I saw, but meaning he had great coverage, really great coverage. So it was a really good catch, a really good pass, and he got his feet in bounds, and Starling knocked him out of bounds and all that and everything. But it looked like he held on to the ball and kept his feet in bounds. He did a great job. Said Starling was draped all over him by the right sideline. Johnson also got his feet in bounds on a touchdown pass from Taylor. His size will keep him in the mix. Says hands down. Darius Slayton looked annoyed with himself after a pass from Daniel Jones, which was thrown a bit late, deflected off his hands for an incompletion. The first team offense was more disjointed than it has been all summer as it went against the Lions defense. On the bright side, Sterling Shepard got knocked around some and showed his hands are dependable as ever. That's good. Well, I mean, Daniel Jones, I mean, he missed a couple throws, but he also had apparently, what I was hearing, a couple drops as well, too. Caught my eye, it says here. It will be interesting to see how many penalties Jalen Hyatt draws as defenders grab and tug to stay with him. That's funny. He caught a pass over the middle in a one-on-one drill despite cornerback Jerry Jacobs getting flagged for pass interference. Hyatt also might have been held up as a long pass from Jones sailed out of reach. Defenders must be wary of Hyatt's long strides. Oh, yeah, this here, yeah. Injury report. You got Evan Neal, Nunez Rogers, Marcus McKeithen. Oh, okay. Ashawn Robinson and Marcus McKeithen participate in individual drills as they ramp up their activity before they are placed in team drills. But here we go. Lawrence Cager took a big hit over the middle after making a catch and went inside to be evaluated. He was able to return to practice. I think that was the late hit or the cheap shot that somebody told me about, or I read. Yeah, Patty Trainer. Yep. Part of the process. Love his size. Yeah, hard to defend. You got that right. Oh, yeah. I'd like to ask Aaron Glenn what he thought of Hyatt's speed. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, there was a mixed bag. I mean, it seemed like for the most part, the Lions got the best. I mean, St. Brown, when I also read in an article, it was like he was like open, like, all the time. It's like, the Giants had a hard time stopping him. So, I mean, it seemed like, most of it went to the Lions, but when I read, the initial offense that the Giants had, Daniel Jones was like 6 out of 8. He did pretty good, but apparently after that it was kind of downhill. So, but this is just the first practice, so they'll do it again tomorrow. Doesn't mean tomorrow is going to be another one-sided affair. Maybe the Giants will, lick their wounds and go out there and play some big boy football tomorrow, maybe turn things around. Who knows? But it's just like their history. Over the past, I don't know, whatever. They just don't seem to. Obviously a lot of with different coaches and all that, but they just have had bad success with these joint practices. Yeah, St. Brown. Oh yeah, my God. He had. I read it was my video last night. He had like 190 something catches in his first 2 seasons. It's like I knew he had a bunch. I didn't, because I don't follow all their stats and all of that. For the other teams, I don't know that stuff. I knew he's doing pretty good, but I'm like, man, he almost had 200 catches in the first 2. It's like, geez, wow, man, So apparently, and the Lions, they had that. They had a good draft. With some of it, I'm not a draft guru, but just some of the guys they drafted, like they took the running back at was number 12, and then they took a linebacker in the 20s. They could have maybe gotten a second round or something like. So they took some good guys. It's just like they might have they took the guys maybe a little too early. They maybe could have gotten the running back in the second round. There's other guys out there they could have, but regardless if you got a guy in it, if you took a guy that might have gone in the second, if you got him in the first round, regardless if he was a second rounder, he's going to be a good ball player. He should be a good ball player. So if they took the running back and the linebacker, who were probably both second round picks, you took them in the first round, okay. But if they're both second round picks, they should be good. So if you were good last year, the coaching staff's still there. Campbell seems like he obviously, seems like he's going to do a good job. And they drafted some more good guys, so they should be an up and coming team. Oh yeah, they could, yeah. Well, a lot of people, I don't see the Bears. I mean, I think they're still at least a year or so away or whatever. I mean, they seem like they're in flux. I don't know what Love can do as far as quarterback with the Packers. I mean, the Packers, if they can find Love can find his way, maybe they can do some things. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I don't see the Lions going 15-2. And then let's not forget about, the Vikings. I mean, they drafted a wide receiver in the first round. They have no defense, but they'll score some points. They'll win like 75-74. So don't forget about them. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. But I do like Dan Campbell because, the guy, it's hard to say, especially early on, if he's going to be a successful coach or whatever. But it's like when after they lost, I can't remember if that was the game they lost when they lost to the Ravens. They kicked the 65-yard field goal or 66-yard field goal, whatever the heck it was. His time expired. I can't remember if it was that game or it was another game. It was 2 years ago. They lost a couple real tough games, close games and stuff like. And Campbell came up there. He was just like ball, and it was just he was just so upset for the guys and everything like that. I mean, it's a guy like that. It's just somebody you want to you don't want to disappoint him. I mean, whether he's an offensive guru or a defensive guru or ways he could be a crappy coach. Who knows? But somebody's up there freaking bawling his eyeballs out, feeling bad about your guys. Because he's just freaking just drained. I mean, it's just somebody you want to play for. And, if he can get those guys to rally around them, boy, hey, the thing that kind of just ticked me off a little bit last year was when, of course, they lost the first game of the season to the Eagles. Yeah, I hated that. But I mean, keep an eye on the Lions. Keep an eye out on the Lions. But speaking of that, we had Julian Edelman. Huh? Not as another wide receiver. That would give us 1,347 slot receivers. But no, Julian Edelman, it's nice. It's nice to have friends. And of course, Mr. Daboll knows Julian Edelman very well. And Julian Edelman is a hardworking, scrappy guy, right? So Julian Edelman works with the Giants wide receivers on a new play. It's a new play maybe for the Giants. It's not a new play for Edelman and all that because they used it before when in New England. It says New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll never rests when it comes to improving his team and inserting more innovation into his game plans. On Monday at training camp, Daboll had former New England Patriots star receiver Julian Edelman on hand to meet with the wide receiver group to discuss some possible new wrinkles to the offense. Where we were just talking through a specific play that we just put in, wideout Paris Campbell told reporters afterwards. Dabes was like raving about it, and he said he was the reason that we put it in. So just kind of talking through that a little bit. He's one of the best to do it, and always good to get some insight from him. Edelman worked with Daboll in New England, and the two won 3 Super Bowls together. Edelman was actually the MVP of Super Bowl 53. The former Kent State quarterback, right? Remember that, right? Returner and receiver, is well known for his versatility and is willing to share his experiences and expertise with the Giants. He didn't have to do that, but he did. So after Monday's workout, Edelman got together with several Giants players and wide receivers coach Mike Groh to discuss a play that was specifically designed for Edelman in Foxborough. What that play is, of course, is confidential. Paris Campbell is excited about being involved in an offense with such esteemed minds as Dable and offensive coordinator Mike Kafka. Paris said, they're offensive gurus, said Campbell. They really know what they're doing. Dabes has so much in his arsenal. He wants to always keep the defense guessing. So we've got a lot of different plays, a lot of different things to learn. I bet he does. Paris Campbell is just one of many weapons the Giants have amassed this offseason. Last year, they had to scrounge for talent midway through the season after a spat of injuries decimated the wide receiver and tight end room. Yep. Oh, yeah. So that's why sometimes you don't want to burn bridges. You make a friend or something like that with Julian Edelman or whatever. You want to keep them. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And so you never know when somebody like a Julian Edelman, scrappy wide receiver, right, earned all his receptions and every yard he ever got, earned all that stuff, right? Comes back and now he has no affiliations whatsoever with the Giants, but he did with Dabes, right, Dable. So he came in. He's doing Dable a huge favor. So thumbs up to Julian Edelman, and thank you. And then finally, I got Matt Barr. I'm talking about the old Giant kicker. Anthony Barr to visit the Giants after he was with the Saints. He took a physical with the Saints, but he wanted to explore some other options that he might have out there with other teams. So, free agent linebacker Anthony Barr is targeting the New York Giants for his next visit, and the two sides are working to schedule a date and a time, according to Josina Anderson of CBS Sports. She added that Barr passed the physical with the Saints, but it wants to take additional visits before settling on a new team. So, don't know exactly when he's coming in, but, I mean, he was first round pick, selection number 9. The Vikings took him in the pick 9, right? In the 2014 draft. So he's 31. So he'll be 30. He's 31 this year. Now he's been around since obviously 2014. He had a couple real good seasons with the Vikings. Last season he played with the Cowboys. He played in 707 snaps last year for that defense for the Cowboys. Now, according to Pro Football Focus, that's all I'm going by. He graded out at 60.5, which is not horrible. Could be better. Absolutely. Could be worse. Oh, yeah. But, I mean, as a rotational piece, veteran presence, right, his experience and all that. I mean, I said his second season in the league with Minnesota, he played 882 snaps on defense. He graded out a 90. All right. That was by far his best season. No other season. I mean, that season, his pass rush was a 90.4. His coverage grade as a linebacker was a 90. So he graded out at a 90 one year. So, but he graded out at a 70 a couple times. He graded it in the 60s a few times. So, I mean, if he can come in, and now he does have, obviously, with the Godfather, right, with Patterson, right? There's a little connection there. Now, I'm not sure how much Patterson wound up coaching him up, but there was familiarity there. Patterson's very familiar with him because Barr spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons with Minnesota, right? So there's some familiarity there. So I said, you have to wait and see. But I mean, if we wind up bringing him in, maybe he'd be some good depth, for the Giants. I said, it's never going to be a never-ending process. They're always going to keep bringing guys in. So, but I said we get him on the cheap as a good veteran presence. Maybe not. Yeah. Oh yeah. Edelman, Walker, good players, smart former Pats. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, bringing them in. See what I mean. That's all. I mean, the Giants, they brought in another guy from who used to play was with Pittsburgh. They brought him in. I mean, they're constantly bringing guys in, right? So the one thing is that, you have like two types of guys out there now who are free, right? You got because for the most part, if you're pretty good, you're on a team. So then there leaves there's kind of a little gap there maybe. You got the guys who aren't on a team because maybe they're not that good, right? And if you're bringing guys in, they're maybe not that good. There might be a reason why they're not on a team, okay? But then you got some of the other guys who, because it's training camp and they might have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, whatever experience in the league and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm not much for training camp. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to sign with the team until maybe about 3 days before the regular season starts. It's amazing how that works out. So you got guys out there, and of course, I'm sure you got some free agents that just want to be signed too. But I mean, some of them don't want to be signed just yet because they don't want to go through training camp, right? Especially like an Ingram or somebody like that who's going to be just rotational. I'm going to get 25 rushes a game. I'm good right now. I can rush the quarterback 25 times. Let me get into practice a little bit. Let me get my wind back under my feet. I'm training at home. I'm in good shape. If you're going to sign me for whatever, $3 million, and I'm going to rush the quarterback 20, 25 times a game, I'm good. If you're going to, if they're going to be like a sexy Dexy and they got to play 70 snaps a game, well, then it's a different story. But they said, of course, the one interesting thing is going to be is when after the third preseason game's over and everybody's got to go from 90 down to 53, you let a whole lot of guys go. So, I mean, that's when you're going to be. But the thing is with that is if you do bring one guy in, you have to sign him to your 53. So not only you got to sign him to your 53, but, then, you got to bring him up to speed on your plays, your playbook and all that stuff and everything. So, but let's hope we get some better. Maybe we get some better results. I mean, it sounded like Daniel Jones. Well, I mean, Darius Slayton let a ball go through his hands. Daniel Jones missed on a pass or two. So obviously one bad joint practice does not a season make. So let's see if they can turn it around. Right. And if worse comes to worse, they don't turn around. Maybe they'll turn around Friday night in the preseason game. But once again, it's only practice too. So if the Giants go out there and dominate tomorrow, it doesn't mean we're going to win the Super Bowl. So always try to keep that in mind. And of course, it's like iron sharpens iron. If we have a bad day, we're going up against a good quality team that's going to make us better. So. And once again, the Lions maybe got the better of it. That doesn't mean that 97% of the Giants players out there were absolutely horrible, right? Some of them had maybe some bad days, bad games or whatever, but it doesn't mean the whole team was horrible. So, all right, guys. Well, that's 47, 48 minutes. Jersey guys and Terrence. Good talking to you. Back again tomorrow. As I said, once again, hopefully we'll have some better stuff to talk about as far as with the joint practices. But all right, so whoever spent any time watching me, thank you. If anybody spends any time watching the replay, this once again, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.